The Seattle Mariners offseason plans just got interesting. Let's talk about it. So in case you missed it on Mariners Twitter or Blue Sky, Ken Rosenthal released an article basically talking about a lot of things going on in Major League Baseball this offseason, and the Mariners were brought up. Some Mariner fans are very against what he wrote about, but other Mariner fans are okay with it if they go out and make a big splash. So Ken Rosenthal had brought up in his article saying the Mariners are also looking to upgrade at third, believing their position to handle second base internally with Dylan Moore, Ryan Bliss, and at some point next season, Cole Young, the 21st overall pick in the 2022 draft. So in this video, I want to give you guys a little bit of my opinion on this, as well as reading some of your comments that I did see over on X and kind of just breaking them down a little bit. So to start, my first initial reaction isn't anything crazy. I feel like we kind of expected this for the most part. We knew if they were really going to make a splash anywhere in the infield, it would probably be third base more than anything, obviously with getting rid of Josh Rojas. So being second base internally, we knew this was most likely going to be the option, so I guess it really doesn't come as much of a surprise. That being said, it is a little bit of a conflict of interest, at least in my head, because the Seattle Mariners had already mentioned that they're not going after any big free agents such as like Alex Bregman for third base or whatever the case may be. So in theory, if they are going to be internally doing second base, it would really make sense if they were saving this money to go out and make a big splash in the free agent market, but we already know they're not doing that. Now, in terms of the options at second base, with Dylan Moore and Ryan Bliss being the first two, with Cole Young coming up the rear maybe later on in the season, my personal opinion, you guys know this, I have said this before, but I just personally do not think Dylan Moore is an everyday baseball player. He won a Gold Glove as a utility player because he is awesome defensively at almost every single position he plays at, but when it comes to his bat, he really just doesn't perform enough for me to be intrigued at him being an everyday player at second base. Don't get me wrong, Demo is one of the best utility players in the entire league, and that is not biased, that is just pure fact at this point, but his bat still concerns me. Last year, he played in the most games he has in his entire career, in 135 last season, and he put up a 201 batting average with 10 home runs, 42 RBIs, a 105 WRC plus, and a 2.4 WAR. And again, not that those numbers are drastically terrible by any means, but that is what you're going to get from Demo if he is an everyday player. And then obviously Ryan Bliss did not get tons of playing time last year. He played in 33 games where he had a 222 batting average with 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, a 101 WRC plus, and a 0.4 WAR. Now that being said, when it comes to defense, neither one of these guys are a big concern to me. I think both of them will be able to handle the position just fine. But like I said, when it comes to their bat, obviously Ryan Bliss hasn't had enough experience at this level for me to be confidently saying, his bat can perform at this level. I do think he has a lot of upside, and I've said that ever since they made the trade to get him in the first place. But I just don't think either one of their bats really intrigued me enough to have them playing there every single day. Now, here's my one big problem with this, and this, tell me if I'm wrong, but this is how I'm breaking it down in my head. Essentially, as we knew, the Mariners outfield was pretty much set with Randy, Victor, and Julio out there, and then we mainly needed replacements at second base and third base, with JP being shortstop, and then obviously we know they're trying to bring back Carlos Santana or Justin Turner. So for the most part, this entire offseason, we've been discussing, who's a third baseman they can go out and get, who's a second baseman they can go out and get. And now, after this came out, I feel a little bit different about it. Because kind of what this is telling me, or at least in my head, is that the Seattle Mariners are going to go out and get Justin Turner or Carlos Santana. And if they get Justin Turner, they're going to obviously do the platoon with Luke Raley. But if they get Carlos Santana, he's most likely going to be your everyday first baseman. And now that you basically have second base already set, knowing that they're going to use Dylan Moore and Ryan Bliss, essentially the only player and the only position they're really going to upgrade at, with you could obviously consider Justin Turner and Carlos Santana and upgrade at first base. But as we know, second base has been the major problem for the Seattle Mariners over the past few seasons. So what that tells me is that they're going to get one third baseman, whether that's through a trade or a free agent. But as we know, there's not too many free agent third base options. So, maybe someone like Alec Bohm is still definitely in the discussion, who's been brought up a lot this offseason. But that basically tells me they're just going to go out and say, hey, Alec Bohm, let's make a trade for him. He's going to be our everyday third baseman. And that's pretty much it. Besides the obvious signing of Carlos Santana or Justin Turner, I do think that one of those guys will, without a doubt, be Seattle Mariners this offseason. But after that, that's basically the two main position player moves you're going to make this offseason. With a little bit of leeway for, I'm assuming they're going to go out and get another bullpen arm of some sort, I'm sure. But if that is basically it, I am not sure if that is enough to move the needle going into 2025. But some of you on Mariners X beg the question, essentially, if they are going to get a third baseman, it has to be a stud. But again, the other question is, who is that stud? We already know they're not going to go out and get someone like Alex Bregman, who we know has a very good bat, but obviously a lot of Mariner fans do not want to get him. But there are a lot of, there aren't that many options. You have Nolan Arenado you can make a trade for, but then you have to take on all that salary. Alec Bohm is definitely very affordable for the Seattle Mariners, and I think is definitely a player I'm very intrigued by. But yet again, I don't know if it's enough to get them over the hump and really get into the playoffs next year. So I think that's my biggest thing, is I wanted to go into the 2025 season with be like, all right, we got a new third baseman, we got a new second baseman, and these are guys that, have really good track records of playing Major League Baseball, and we can rely on them going into opening day. But now I kind of feel like we're left with that massive question mark of, will Dylan Moore hit better next year? Will Ryan Bliss perform at the Major League level? Will Cole Young be good at the Major League level? And if he even comes up next year, when will he be coming up? I just think with them internally dealing with second base is, one, a cheap way out, and two, it just just begs for more questions from Mariners fans. Again, I do not think Demo and Ryan Bliss are going to be, guys that I have to worry about. Their defense is terrible, their offense is terrible. Like, they're good players, and Ryan Bliss, obviously, we don't know enough about him at the major league level. We know he's a very good minor league player, but we don't know enough at the major league level to be super confident in his abilities. But both of them have very unique skill sets, and definitely in terms of speed, they're both very good on the base path, which is huge for the Seattle Mariners, adding that with Victor Robles' skills on the base path. It's just, again, I don't know if it is going to be the move that's going to help get us over the hump, and I don't know if bringing in Carlos Santana or Justin Turner, as well as one third baseman, is really enough to move the needle going into 2025. So please let me know what your guys' initial reaction to this was. Like I said, I'm not too mad about it. I'm a little disappointed in terms of it's the same thing over and over again. They're still not going to go and spend, I don't know what this $16 million is going to go to, whether it's a bullpen arm, whether it is maybe a stud third baseman that none of us are really thinking about and they come out and surprise us, who knows. But at the end of the day, $16 million is not a lot of room to work with. But the Mariners have to get better. They have to get better this offseason. They have holes still to this day. And if they consider second base filled, good. I hope Ryan Bliss and Dylan Moore pop off and prove me wrong. But again, it's still just too many questions and too many concerns for me to go confident in opening day with them at second base. But otherwise, like I said, please let me know what you guys think. And I hope you guys did enjoy the video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.